One of our originally scheduled guests for this episode was JD Albertson. He was one of the owners of the Porthole. He unfortunately passed away the Saturday after we recorded. I had the pleasure of knowing JD. He was one of the nicest, most genuine people you've ever met in your life. It's a huge loss for the Bloomington community, his family, everybody. And we'd like to go ahead and just dedicate this episode in his honor. Thanks so much to our title sponsor, Visit Bloomington. We would not be here without them. Check them out, visitbloomington.com.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine, relax and have a good time. No dishes, no dishes.
We're here with the boys from the Porthole Inn. We got David Hayes and Steve Birch, a.k.a. Flat Steve. Thanks for being here, fellas.
Hey, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
People question my intelligence by being part of the Porthole. As a financial advisor, it's kind of like, do as I say, not as I do. Let me just put it that way before we get things started.
Well, we're 30 seconds in and you're already telling us you're not hiding anything. I appreciate the candidness. Yeah. Well, if it helps, I've never questioned your intelligence.
Well, thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that very much.
On the other hand.
All right.
Fair. Very fair.
We got a split vote. Yeah.
Well, I've only known him since I was 8 years old. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
all right.
It's not like we don't have a lot of history together. So we've seen each other do some pretty dumbass things. So yeah.
So
he once called me the smartest dumbass he ever met in his life.
You know what? I like that.
Yeah. So anyway,
that was I had a teacher tell me the most underachieving student he ever had. So it was kind of similar, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It's like, look at me now, Mr. Shinaki. I'm just kidding. So how'd you guys even get in? Childhood friends. How'd you get into buying the Porthole?
It's an abbreviated story, believe it or not.
Hey, we got time.
Yeah, it is. It's so my in-laws have a place out at Lake Lemon, and my wife and I had spent some time out there on the weekends from time to time, and we would run down to the Porthole every couple weeks or something like that. Kind of decided that there's a possibility of making something. That now listen. The Porthole has been something since 1957, but we had ideas of, kind of renovating, modernizing, and long story short, we were at dinner one night, found out that it was for sale, and we bought it the next morning.
Really did your due diligence.
I'll tell you this. So I also, besides being an advisor, have a pretty good real estate holdings here in Bloomington.
Yeah.
So I've been buying rental real estate for years and years and years. So yeah, the other reason is, once we did buy it, the Porthole had very inconsistent hours. It was just, you didn't know if they were out of stuff all the time. So all the things Steve mentioned were right. We wanted to make it great again, make the Porthole great again. So we grew up with Monica Fig now, and she's a realtor, and we were at the country club having dinner, and she said, guys, the Porthole is going on for sale tomorrow. And I'm like, whatever. And we were like, how much? How much was it?
It doesn't matter.
Well, it's all public record. It's all public record.
Seems like we're not disclosing that.
Well, if they want to know, they can look it up.
Yeah. Well, so I'm like, well, what's the deal? And they said, well, there's an operator and then there's an owner. So the owner owned the land, the building, the liquor license, all of that. Then we had an operator that was leasing it from them. And they said, well, I said, well, how much is lease payment? And it was like $2,500. It was some number. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I'm like, get my calculator out. I said, they're selling this as a rental property, not a restaurant. Legitimately, the income supported what I would pay for it as a rental property.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this might be a pretty good deal. So Birch, the very next morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, went there with my sister-in-law, who's also a realtor, and ended up at that later that day, put a full price cash offer in and bought the place.
Wow. All right. Quick
With
turnaround.
the idea that the other operator would operate through the end of the year, and then we would take it over in January, do the wonderful remodel that Steve led, and then open in February.
Yeah, you guys did an amazing job with it. I know we talked about before we're recording this mid-November, it's going to come out day after Christmas. So by the time this comes out, you'll have owned the place for about a year.
Yeah, a year.
Yep.
Right.
What has happened that you weren't expecting?
Well,
We have plenty of time.
so
Well, I think anyone who was in the restaurant business knows to expect the unexpected,
Yeah.
right? Everything is unexpected. But go ahead.
Well, we started hiring everybody we could hire, and although we replaced everything in the kitchen, so the hood system, the fryers, the grills, the dishwashers, the sinks, everything was brand new back there. Once we flipped the lights on and started running this place for ourselves, everything still started breaking. Not the new stuff, but walk-in coolers, air conditioning systems.
Right.
So it's been a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of capital going into it.
Yeah.
Well,
and-
I think one of the reasons there's the inconsistent hours was staffing, because I've been friends with Joel on Facebook, and he, when he still owned it, I remember like they were having trouble staffing.
Well,
So
our philosophy was like we treat our own employees at our own businesses is that get the greatest people you can, pay them like no one else, treat them like kings and queens, and they'll repay you in a good way. And that's what's happened. Steve was able to hire some of the best people. And you would never, what you made him say, why would you want to go to the Porthole and be a server? Well, because it's great.
yeah.
yeah.
People are
it
happy,
really is.
they make good money.
Yeah, if you make good money,
They're
if you like your bosses,
appreciated.
yeah.
For the
they're-
ones that have bought in, it really has been, it's like family out there because, 3 nights a week, the same 50 people are in there,
Right.
And, of course, we have the music on the weekends. We opened, I think, February 17th, and every Friday and every Saturday since then, we've had a live band in there. And, Bloomington, as music-oriented as it is, there aren't many places that have live music every Friday and Saturday, so we're pretty proud of that.
Yeah, well, and just to be a little kind of oasis out there. I mean,
Right.
you could just like rest on your laurels, being like, hey, we're the only game in town out here, take it or leave it. But you're trying to make it, from what I've seen, the outside looking in, the best experience possible. From renovating, redoing the menu, having live entertainment, which isn't cheap.
Well, and
So-
the excitement of the resurrection of the Porthole in February, March, even in April before lake season really got started, we were overwhelmed by the amount of people that just wanted to come and see it. I did a soft opening, 1 or 2 soft openings for my clients where they came out and it was kind of cool. They all enjoyed it. A lot of them grew up here in Bloomington. Of course, went there when they were kids and had great stories. And, and I think, too, they wanted to maintain the nostalgia. They wanted to maintain it as a divey bar, but a clean, fun, more lit up dive bar. Keep some of the staples on the menu, right? I mean, you couldn't get rid of the catfish. Of course, some were asking, are we going to bring back the whole catfish again, where they used to have the head and the bones?
Oh,
and,
man.
Like, nah, we're going to stick with what
I got
what
ripped
they're-
on that just today.
Oh, yeah. I have a feeling you're not going to live that down for a long time.
Nah,
But hey, so you got to
we
make
kept
tough
what
decisions.
Joel had. We kept the same catfish
Yeah,
that they had.
We did, yeah. And Joel and Dina did a great job out there, and they, I think, finally just kind of got a little burnout.
Yeah,
And,
and they were fantastic in the transition. I
Absolutely.
mean, they were in there showing them how to make the pizza sauce, how to make
Recipes.
the dough. They were real helpful. They were great. They were super, super. But it was their time, and I think they're happy.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it seems like it worked out. Like you said, a good, smooth transition, and you guys really took it and, like you said, kept the nostalgia, but still made it new and fresh and tweaked the menu. I mean, you brought in what the pizza oven you brought in is one of the Cadillac of pizza ovens, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It is. Our buddy down, and I'll throw Jimmy Dunning a bone here.
Oh, shout out to Jim. Absolutely, man.
Down at Baldy's Pizza, he basically said, this is the oven you need to find. And we found it.
And they have some of the best pizza in town.
That's
if
true.
not the best pizza.
That's true. Yep. And we found it.
On the south side, that is.
That's right.
That's right, Jimmy.
We've got Lake Lemon Corner. so
Stay out of our territory. Yeah.
yeah. No. But Jimmy's been great over the past year. If we have questions or if we run out of something, he's just a great person to be able to go to and been super helpful. So we really appreciate him.
And when there's 4 partners, and all of us grew up together, 3 of us grew up since we were little kids, and the other one we met probably around 20-ish. Yeah. So Steve and I, of course, Steve owns Furniture Exchange and Distinctive Home Furnishings, so he deals with the retail side of the world. Of course, I'm in the financial advisory business, so we do, what we do. Steve Dawson, owner of HFI, he provided all the mechanical contracting stuff we need, the kitchen, so his guys were there working on that, which is nice because then if something goes wrong, Steve's like, hey, get my best guy out there.
Having the owner of HFI as a business partner is not a bad thing at all.
And so we all
we got to call him is
yeah. We all grew up in the same subdivision.
Okay,
as
awesome.
Kids, yeah. And then John Albertson, he's a retired Allstate agent. His son Blake took it over, and John actually helped Jimmy start Baldy's Pizza.
Yeah.
So, and out of Buddy Bill's Bait Barn many years ago.
That's all true.
John has he knows pizza. He knows pizza, and so he's struggling with a couple things right now, but he's going to get back on his feet, and I wouldn't doubt seeing him slinging pizza dough by April or May.
Yeah. Well, when I was in there, like during that kind of peak time, things were just going nuts when you guys first reopened. And I saw Dawson doing dishes. JD, John, JD is back there making pizzas. You guys were both there around or
engaged, man. We were engaged. Like we're not too good to do this, right? We'll take out the trash.
Exactly.
So you were there the day Dawson did dishes?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
One day.
I can vouch for it. No, I was like, man, like these guys are doing it right. Like that's what you want to see, especially you see a new ownership group come in, especially one that's already established and like you guys have all been successful in your own right already. You don't necessarily have to be in there doing dishes, but you're doing it because you want to see it succeed. You want to make it work.
That was kind of what I mean when we took off with it. We had a certain idea where it would go, but since we all have done what we've done in this town for so long, we've got a little pride. We want to make it nice. We want to make it clean.
If our name's on something, we don't want it to be, you know.
Yeah.
And it's still a work in progress and probably will be for some time, but we've gained a lot of ground in the last few months. We've got people that are bought into working there, a family of people that want to be there together. And I'm really excited about where we're at right now.
That's great. So when we were up there and I witnessed the one day, apparently Dawson's doing dishes, I got, my buddy is vegetarian and he did like a buffalo chicken with pineapple or buffalo with pineapple, no chicken pizza. And it was just the dough, I was like, I think it was JD. I was like, what kind of buffalo is this? He's like, it's just Frank's. But it, like, dude, just the way it complemented with everything. Maybe I've never had Frank's heated up like that.
Yeah.
But man, fortunately I have good friends who let me try their food. And I was just blown away. Yeah.
And the barbecue chicken pizza is great too. I mean, there's just so many guys. Pizzas are really good. Yeah. The breadsticks, people love those. They're just different. They're kind of tight and not real fluffy.
Inconsistent shapes, and they just taste really good.
Oh, that's you see it like that, and it's more authentic. It's not your like I'm going to Pizza Hut. It's always this perfect little rectangle. Yeah. There's something homey about that.
Yeah. Going back to the remodel, Jordan, the garage doors that we put in.
Yeah.
It used to be dark and dingy in there. Had the 45s on that east wall. And Steve, you got to see his basement, by the way. He's got a great lounge in his basement, but he's got just a very unique and I don't know, craft, I think, of seeing visioning things. And he was the first one to say, we need to tear out this wall and put some garage doors in.
I've been to a lot of bars.
Selflessly doing research, right?
A lot of cool bars, So anyway, those were great because you can throw them up when the weather's nice. People can stand outside and have a drink, and maybe go take their smoke break. That was the only problem whenever you have a west wind on it when someone's smoking outside the screen. Remember that? Or someone starts their car. And it's like, oh man. Gosh, we got all CO2'd out in there one night. But it was, it's been fun to be part of. It really has been.
And those garage doors are right behind the stage too. So that adds such a cool element to it.
Well, and those singers, man, when they're up there working for 2 hours straight under those lights, it gets hot.
Yeah, a little breeze doesn't hurt.
Just cracking it open a little bit. And
that's why we keep it chilling in here. I don't want to be sweating.
Yeah, it's cold in here.
You got it down low down there.
Kind of creepy, actually, Jordan. Dark, down a basement, freezing. I don't know.
We're just setting the mood over here, boys. Well, cheers. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you guys got a little Mick Ultra Miller Lite. I've got this Athletic Brewing Company Run Wild IPA from our newest sponsor, No Buzz Bottles. So I stopped drinking like 14, 15 months ago.
Congrats.
And Maddie's a local personal trainer who set this thing up where she'll deliver non-alcoholic like wine, cocktails, you name it, mocktails, whatever you want to call them, to your door. So thanks, Maddie. And I appreciate this little IPA. I haven't had like something that tastes like this in a year and a half almost.
Yeah, wow.
I'm like, all right, this is kind of weird. Like this feels wrong, but it's so right.
I haven't had anything to taste like this since last night. Monday Night Football.
Hey, we may need to get with Maddie actually and get a case of that out at the porthole.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she brought by a box of stuff for us to kind of have on different episodes, and there's like a rosé in there. There's a wine. There's mocktails. Like there's even some Delta 8 stuff, which Delta 8's not really my thing, but you know, I tried one of them when she did like Lotus. I didn't really feel it, but it was a good drink, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And for people in my situation or that still want to have that taste and maybe just cut back some, it's a good option. So I'll put you guys in touch. That'd be cool.
Be great.
Because I'd love it from personally when I come out there, have something, don't feel maybe as left out. I go places.
That's part of it, right? The social aspect of it.
It's a huge part of it, absolutely. And
it's like standing outside with those smokers and you don't smoke, right?
Right.
You feel like, I have a cigarette.
Get a little toothpick. It's I've ordered too many half Sprite, half lemonades from bartenders since they're like, what? I'm like, just go with it, please. Like, it's what I like.
Yeah.
Put a sippy cup on it. I don't care. Sippy
Whatever.
lid.
Speaking of the bar, I mean, we have a couple bartenders at the Porthole that to me rival any bartenders anywhere, and not just in this town, but anywhere I've been. I've been all over the world.
Yeah.
They are fantastic, and they create some awesome craft cocktails, and that was something else. The old Porthole, really, you know, if my wife went and wanted to have a martini, you know, that wasn't an option then. It was, you know, very basic stuff. Now, a complete martini list, different drinks for different seasons, quirky names like the Lake Lemon Drop.
Yeah.
You know, and they're fantastic. People are like the old fashions that they make.
Oh yeah.
I hear people raving after. So yeah, it's a great place just to go hang out, have a drink, and talk to people that you might know if you're local, because a lot of local people out there.
Yeah. So just to give them credit, that would be Vesta is our bar manager, and Lisette is our second bartender. They do it all. They take care of it all, and they're just
funny.
They care. They care.
I want to say Vesta is who waited on my buddy and I when she was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. Don't miss Constellation Stage and Screen's family holiday show, Matilda the Musical, on stage December 14th through 31st at the Buskirk Chumley Theater. From the visionary mind of Roald Dahl comes the Tony Award-winning Matilda the Musical. Packed with high-energy dance numbers and astonishing stage magic, children and adults alike will be thrilled and delighted by the story of an extraordinary little girl. See Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical on stage December 14th through 31st in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at cconstellation.org. It's cool. Yeah, you get because for me, that's what I want is like a dive bar feel. But yeah, if I want something bougie, a little classy, I can still get it.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
I don't have to go feel like I got to be dressed up just to go have a nice.
And the other thing, we still have the family area. You know, so if you have kids or people under 21, you can come into that family area on the west side of the building but still feel part of the atmosphere of the bar.
Right.
So if you have young families, come out. I mean, it's a great place. A lot of people live in Unionville, and we're going to be open all winter long. So that's something people ask all the time. Like, you know, we committed to staying open and having consistent times, and so
almost all winter.
Almost.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna tee it up for you.
Yeah.
When are you guys closed from? Christmas to January 5th?
We're gonna close on the 23rd. That'll be our December 23rd. Will be our first day closed,
which would have been 3 days ago from
when this goes in.
And then we will reopen on January 5th.
Okay.
So once we reopen, we are already booked every Friday and Saturday for 120 days going into 24 for live music. So if you're looking for live music in 24, the Porthole's a place to be. There's no cover. And
huge,
I mean, it's just such a value.
Yeah.
You come out, get a couple beers and a pizza, and listen to free live music for $20.
Well, and just tell Jordan, I think he knows, but who's been out there? I mean, some really well-known bands here.
I mean, in the local area, especially out in Unionville, Jake Dodds, who has been playing consistently in Nashville, Tennessee. He is a Unionville born and raised guy.
Oh, awesome. I didn't know that.
yeah.
That's cool.
And he is a huge talent. And he was in July and just blew the roof off the place.
Oh my gosh.
Just what
I couldn't even believe where I was. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, what a cool
I couldn't
intimate
either,
set.
David. But no, that was an awesome night. But just to list a few more of the bands that people around here might know. Cody Eichert and the Sidewinders out of Bedford.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they did a great job.
They played Food Truck Friday. Steven does a great job managing them.
Yeah. And they're going to play, and by the time this airs, it'll be too late. But Thanksgiving Eve, so
awesome.
we're going to have a big night Thanksgiving Eve.
That's always, I think, been called Townie Night.
That's Townie Night,
because that's when
yeah.
everyone's back in town to see their family and all because the old Yogi's at 10th and Indiana, that used to be one of the busiest nights of the year.
Yeah.
Was the night before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And a lot of times the Bluebird's busy on that Friday night because of a lot of townies.
Yeah, and the Bluebird might try to give us a little competition this time, but I think the local guys, out there in Unionville and gals are gonna show up and support Cody. But also, there's a blues band, King B and the Stingers.
Absolutely.
They just played last weekend.
Are they good?
Absolutely amazing.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've come out,
Soulful,
played Food Truck Friday as well. Jeff
man.
Shue, shout out to Jeff. He's putting on Amplify Nashville coming up soon.
That's right. Jeff runs all the blues jams, and so every other Tuesday night, the Porthole has a blues jam. So there's a host band that plays for the first hour, and then it's kind of an open stage for musicians and singers to come up and play for the next 2 hours. And that's been a great thing for us on those Tuesday nights. I also have to mention Rich Hardesty, which is a name that most people around Bloomington are going to know from way back playing at the Peanut Barrel.
Oh, wow.
But Rich has done an amazing job helping me book this music every weekend. I'll have people reach out to me and book them every now and then, but the majority of the bands that we get in there, Rich is booking. And I just want to give him a thank you for taking care of that part.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, man. Booking you, I mean, just from doing it for Food Truck Friday, and even then, the city books certain weeks already, and it's not. There's a lot to take into account to keep all that moving. So
most of the communication we have is through Facebook, but we do have a brand new website, and it's a nice website. It's not overwhelming, but you can see the menu there. You can click; it will lead you to our Facebook page, and you can see what's going on. So we're trying our best just to keep out there what's happening, what's new. I think we're going to do a little condensed menu maybe over the.
Yeah, I saw you. I think you already
started today.
Started
today. So there were a few things that came off the menu. Lake season's kind of winding down, and we're trying to
make it work,
save a little money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a few things came off the menu, and some of them were, we're already getting a little grief about. But fear not, those will be daily specials going forward.
Yeah, I saw that post. You guys said, "Hey, we're scaling this back." And when you're out there, it is a still somewhat seasonal venue. You're going to have to do that, and I feel like most people are going to understand. They might rib you a little bit.
Most do understand.
Yeah. But every now and then, there's a few others.
Well, we were out there on Sunday, and it was pretty busy on that Sunday.
Yeah, it was.
And I was talking to some people, and one person, a couple, had driven all the way down from where I think it was like Anderson or something.
Wow.
It was like a 4-hour trip down. And I talked to them for a good while, and they had heard about the lake, had heard about this Porthole restaurant, like you said, been around since the 50s, and just on a whim, on a nice day, wanted to drive down to see it. So they were there about an hour or so and drove back. So they had like 7-8 hours of window time. People from Indianapolis, we see a lot of people from Indianapolis this time of year coming down. We saw the old Lawrence North.
Actually, Coach Jack Kiefer was in the house Sunday Sunday. He's I think the second winningest coach in Indiana boys basketball history.
He had Greg Oden and Mike Conley and
absolutely.
those guys on his
He
team.
was there on Sunday. We talked to him for a little bit. Super nice guy. He's got a grandson playing at Bloomington North.
Oh,
so he said
okay.
he'll be down in Bloomington more, and we might see him at the Porthole more.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was went to high school about a mile away from LA, and at Heritage Christian up there.
Yeah.
And I remember we played Park Tudor, which was our big rival. And Greg Oden came in with some Park Tudor girls.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Greg, you're on the wrong side, man. Come on, man. But yeah, when you just see someone that massive in person, as a high schooler,
my gosh,
too, he was one of those.
He looked like he's 50.
Oh, dude, yeah. That was one of the saddest stories, though, because he was so dominant.
Oh, yeah.
And if one of the greatest what ifs in sports history, I think, is if Greg Oden stayed healthy.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, because he was going in there. It's like he was healthy to be putting up 20 games like it was nothing.
Absolutely.
And just because it was a local guy, you wanted to cheer for him. Still cheering for Conley.
Sure.
He's still out there crushing it.
Yeah.
I know it's great. So the Porthole is somewhat of a magnet for people all around. So it's kind of cool. You never know what you're going to see when you're out there.
Yeah. Tell me about, so you can pull your boat up, right?
Oh my gosh, that's a funny story. I'll tell briefly because Birch had become pretty good friends with the conservatory guy, and I forget his name.
His name is Adam.
Adam Casey.
Adam Casey.
I understand. Super excited about the Porthole being resurrected. Super helpful. So the rule on the lake is that a dock, it can't be more than 4 feet, I think, of water at the end of your dock, or any less than 4 feet, something like that.
It was something.
So, some goofy rule. Well, the water had gotten way down. I mean, not way down, but a few feet down. And so we wanted to make a longer dock. So they're like, go stake. And Birch said, hey, do you care if I go stake the dock right now? He's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. So we got about 6 extra feet of dock just by going out and staking it before the water came back up. So we have a wonderful dock. It says Porthole Inn, I think, on the end. I forget what it says.
Yeah, you've been there several times.
I have been. And you can actually, if you can navigate a boat, a nice pontoon, you could literally get 6 boats in there.
Yeah.
We usually see
that was
4.
a big deal this summer too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I told you before, my family has a house in Culver.
Yes.
And just being able to go take a boat to the public pier and then walk up to the root beer stand.
Yeah.
It's just an experience. We could drive over, but it's like, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
It's like, there's something just cool about driving a boat somewhere, getting out and then getting back in. And you're like, oh shit, this is pretty awesome.
At the Porthole dock, you can tie up, come in, sit down and eat and drink if you want, or you can get carry out pizza, carry out food, carry out beer.
Liquor. Yeah, we have a carry out. You can do anything you want.
Yeah. I'd be marketing the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Well,
We're trying better.
Liquor,
Yeah. It's hard to market everything,
No, I know.
But yeah, definitely food. If they're not during the week for sure, carry out. Sometimes on the weekends, if we're really busy, it's kind of hard to do carry out.
Yeah, that's tough.
But we always have cold beer. You can do liquor if you like. We have an ice machine, a big. What is not a Cosner any longer, is it? But
it
used to be.
It was Cosner, then now it's like Arctic Freeze.
Yeah. We'll still give Cos a shout out though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's
Jason Cosner's
you can
a cool
get
dude.
ice, there.
The Cos.
So it's an easy, convenient way to. Because we did that the other night. We had my boat out for kind of its last voyage, and we went in and got food to carry out. Went out, sat on the boat. It's a beautiful night, and ate our food. It was fun.
That's the way to live it. If you can find a way to make that happen, that's awesome, man. I did before you guys took it over. I was leaving. I'd been hearing about the Porthole catfish. I never had it. And I was leaving our Brown County store, and I called in, carry out, catfish to go.
Yeah.
I get there, and I start driving. I've got a 6-speed.
Yeah.
And pretty windy roads, but I'm like, I got to try this.
Right.
And normally
it's hot. It's hot.
Yeah, exactly. And normally I would dip my catfish in the tartar, as one would, but it was so freaking good that I'm like, and it's greasy.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like trying. It's a miracle that I did not get into a wreck, but I finished the entire thing by the time I hit the bypass.
Well, you can buy catfish nuggets also. A little
yeah,
easier
that's right. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Same catfish, just sliced up differently. Just you have a little nugget
bite
there,
size.
little bite
Yeah,
size.
see,
morsel.
I wasn't a veteran at that time. I know you got the nuggets, but I was, just my shifter was just covered in grease. All my tartar sauce left, didn't even touch it.
You're steering with your left knee.
Oh yeah. It's like, sharp turn. Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was, I thought it was just such a testament to how good it was that I didn't even need to touch the tartar sauce.
That's great.
Just on its own.
That's great.
Something we haven't even touched on yet that is a big part of what we've started at the Porthole in the last month or so. One is pull tabs.
Oh, there it is.
So
I love that.
We are now selling pull tabs at the Porthole Bar for your gambling fun.
So Lovey has a joke that me playing pull tabs is instead of a 401k, it's my 401j. Yeah, just playing pull tab. That's my retirement.
Well, we
plan.
were laughing because, like, unless you're just some high school kid and you happen to luckily win a big, one big ticket, no one ever stops playing pull tabs.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
you put $20 in. Oh, heck, I won 10. Give me 10 more. Oh, look, I won 2. Give me 2 more. Right.
Yeah.
And next thing, I mean, you never win. I mean, then you have, but people do win, and I mean, it's legit.
Yeah,
It's a very regulated game, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you just go out and buy pull tabs and make up your
no.
games. Oh no, this is like serious stuff.
And then the best is you forget you got to sign up, and then you got Bailey calling you, be like, "Hey,
yeah.
dude, you won!"
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, hell yeah, free $100." You
Right.
don't even think about the money you put in.
Yeah.
I'm
just
glad you
sick.
mentioned Bailey, because that's somebody else I need to give a shout out to, because he answered questions for us on that.
Oh, okay.
Because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, but he was a great help. Dan Bailey down at the Alley Bar.
Absolutely. I've talked to him. I know he'll never come on here. I always love giving him like Bailey.
Why would he not come on?
Oh, that's just not his personality.
That's not his style.
He
His
doesn't.
style.
He's
yeah,
kind of a one witter guy.
Oh
Just
yeah, I mean it
singer.
would be great.
Yeah.
But he's Bailey's not one for the limelight.
Right.
Or he's just
a few casual insults, right?
Yeah. No, he's the man. So it's like I just know it's never gonna happen. So it's fun to be like, when you coming on?
Yeah.
Because it's what was the second thing?
So the second thing is the raffle board jackpot.
Is that the treasure hunt?
It is the treasure hunt.
Yeah, there we are.
It's the treasure hunt.
I thought that's what you were gonna say. Yeah.
So I'm sure there are other bars in town that do this raffle board thing, but the short story is you buy a ticket for $1. There's 52 numbers on the board. You put your name and your choice of 1 through 52 on your ticket. If it gets drawn, we unveil what's behind that number, and you get the prize that's behind that. If it's the jackpot, so for the first jackpot, the Porthole threw in $1,000. So we're playing for at least $1,000, but now we're playing for all of the money of the tickets that have been sold since.
Yeah, just keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah. So that's a big deal. And that thing can go legally for us up to $30,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
So if it doesn't get hit, it just keeps accumulating till it gets to $30,000, and then somebody's going to hit it.
Yeah. Well, they just had it over at Office Lounge. Wash is doing the treasure hunt there. And we went over, bought some tickets. And then I think maybe JD was the one that told me you got. I'm like, yes. Like, the more places doing treasure hunt, the better. Well, I mean, we went in there on a Tuesday night and it was just packed to the gills. So it's just a smart business decision to do a treasure, because it's fun, and it's one of those, you have to write your name and number on every ticket.
Yes.
So like no one's not paying their mortgage because they bought some treasure hunt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you have, it's just from a feasibility annoying standpoint. You're like, writing my name more than 20 times does not sound like a good time.
So I had a guy. He was in the other day, and he played over at the office. He plays every week at the office a little bit, and he said, I finally just got a stamp with my name and the number I want on it. So he just stamps them.
Well, I take it back. Maybe you can go full blown degenerate. That's how I feel on my NFL parlays. I'm just oh God.
Yeah, I know.
That's a different podcast.
No, absolutely no. Well, that's awesome that you guys are being so inventive, creative, finding ways to make it the best experience to hang out at the Porthole.
Well, we wanted it to be that way, and a couple of things to maintain the integrity of the business is when we first started, as the four of us, we're like, all right, hey, this isn't like our home bar where we're going to go there and say, hey, give me a burger, give me a beer. It was like legitimately, we pay full price for everything. We tip our servers like everyone else. And I think that our employees really appreciate that, because I think anywhere else they've ever worked, it's not been that way. And and then they help keep us accountable. I mean, at this point, I grabbed a beer the other day real quick, and I intended to pay for it.
Yeah.
Investor's like, do you want me to put that on your bill? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Bush Light, please.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, no, that's good. I think that's too. Just it keeps all four of you accountable. We're like, you're all just nobody's in it just for the free catfish.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
we put a lot of Steve. Well, let me back up. We put money into it. We've not taken any money out. We've learned a lot about expenses, and I've talked to a lot of people in the restaurant business there, and they give me ratios and stuff like that. I've shared those with Steve. Steve has been if it wasn't for him, this thing would have never happened, because he has been the partner that's put in the most work, the most effort, everything. So you've got to have, and here's the other thing, because he does it, none of us would have to, and that's kind of nice, because it's been
even
really
when we
good.
first started, I knew these guys would be on board, and that was never in question. But I had the vision for the way it was going to look, and the idea of the way I hoped it would run, and it's getting there. It looks great.
It's not been too many chiefs, if that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's definitely been. We've let him be the
It's
chief.
been nice because I just don't ask their opinion. I just do whatever I want.
Yeah. The Bloomington Town Planner is a community calendar owned and published by local residents John and Sharon Martin. Mailed out to Bloomington homes in December of each year, it features school schedules and community events. And don't forget the coupons at the bottom of the calendar. They'll save you money and help you decide on the next restaurant or retailer to check out here in the Bloomington area. Town Planner also has an online calendar which will be found at townplanner.com. Make sure to sign up for their weekly e-newsletter so you can stay on top of all the fun events going on around town. No, but you have to be able to be fluid. Because when you get caught up and you have to go through 10 different yeses, you can't act quickly.
And there's never been one deal where they've never questioned one decision.
Yeah.
And it just makes it
the
easy.
bigger decisions, like, hey, let's put a generator in, because we
right.
Yeah,
Of
then we
course,
talked
yeah.
about that.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Oh, geez.
So we're going to turn this into a Generac ad? Is that
No, we're not. I'm not sure what brand we bought, but
It's Generac.
it is a Generac.
Sold by HFI.
Yeah.
there it is. Settle. Yeah.
Through Unrivaled Electric.
Hey, Dawson, I'm going to invoice you $200 for that shout out.
So anyway, in January, we've got a generator coming that will run our entire building, including live bands and walk-in coolers and freezers.
And the other half of Unionville.
Yeah. So
You guys are taking on Duke Energy next?
Wait,
Is that gonna be-
no,
REMC.
we're just going to have some power outage parties,
yeah.
So when nobody else is able to be open, the Porthole Inn is going to be partying probably with live music and selling catfish and cold beer.
Dude, I'm
We were out for 4 days over 4th of July.
Yeah.
I mean, that storm came through Unionville, knocked us out. I have a place on the lake as well. I have a generator, came with the house, and it ran for 4 stinking days straight and kept that house alive. We had neighbors bringing their stuff over to the freezer. Porthole was out. The busiest weekend of the year, Porthole was completely out. So I want to give a shout out to our insurance guy, Garth Goodlet, because Garth.
While we mentioned Garth, I'm still working on getting that orange life ring out on the damn dock to appease the underwriters.
Anyway,
It's on the way.
But
Checks
they
in the
stepped
mail.
up and without questioning anything, helped pay for loss of food,
That's
loss
huge.
of sales that
Yeah.
we were down. We had to show some averages. I mean, they were fantastic. Had to check in not like months. It came pretty quickly, and
that worked out great.
Yeah, I just had lunch yesterday with my friend Jessica Fitch, who runs Scenic View.
Oh,
and she
yeah.
was telling me about what a pain in the ass that was.
Oh, yeah.
Having that power, because obviously they're very lake-based
Oh, yeah.
tourism too.
Yeah.
Different lake, but that's awesome that you had the insurance in place to cover that.
It's
Because
kinda-
that's so much food.
Oh, yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
lose.
It was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, and then also people who were counting on tips. We tried to make that pot right for them too.
That's
as far
great,
as
yeah.
like, hey, you missed out on 3 days of potentially $200-300 a day. We want to try to help them out as well.
That's really-
they can't go get unemployment for their tips. They
Right,
just missed
yeah.
out
Well,
on
and
it. So-
insurance doesn't really cover that, I don't think. So that's awesome that you guys thought of that and covered that. Because man, as a server bartender, I did not save money because my mentality was I'll always make it tomorrow. I know financial consultants love to hear that.
No.
He's got to get with our servers and say, save in the summer, save in the summer.
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting is they want to learn about that because they always are asking me, hey, will you come out here and teach us about a Roth IRA? I said, I'd be happy to, but I haven't done it. But I'm like, it's super easy. But I think they want to, but it's just not in their DNA for some reason. Yeah. But yeah, simple principles, and they are making, Jordan. They've said, hey, we're doing as well here as we've ever done anywhere else, because the people down in Unionville that come to the Porthole, super generous people. Yeah. They're not just tipping the regular, 15, 18, even 20%. Well, I mean, we've seen $200 bills and they throw $300 down, right? And the server takes $100. And these are the regulars, like he said, it's like family out there. And they get to know the server stories.
Oh, yeah.
And they have, generous hearts, and they tend to bring it.
Well, that's like places like my friends that work at Alley Bar, and why they have staff that's been there forever, and it's regulars, and because they tip really well, and and not only do they tip well, it's like if you're stuck in a hard place, like your regular might be a tow truck driver, and he's going to help. He'll tow you for free. They look out for you.
That happens all the time.
Yeah. Well, it happened not that particular thing, but one of our regulars the other day had a truck for sale, and Vesta was looking for a truck, and they just were able to come together on a deal, and it was Vesta's tickled to death with the truck, and the guy is happy to get rid of it.
Septics, gravel, parking lot. I mean, all the stuff that regulars out there. Yeah, everyone's got brand new patio outside.
So, while we're shouting out to people, Bloomingscapes, that's Frank Richardson. Has a landscaping company, and he does all kinds of other things, but they built us a beautiful patio out there. And just want to make sure that I gave Frank a little shout out with Bloomingscapes.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he's there all the time as well. Yep. And then we have lights that are strung around, and if you press a button, it rings inside. This lets people know that you're out there, and the servers will come out and see you.
Oh, wow.
And we have picnic tables. I was out on that Sunday when I came in, really pretty. People have their dogs out there. So if you have a pet and you want to bring it you can't bring them inside, but you can keep them outside.
Yeah, that's so
nice
huge, though. Especially on a nice day. Who wants to leave their dog at home?
That's right.
Right. Well,
my wife never wants to leave our dog at home. He makes me a nervous wreck, but I do love him.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit more in your P's and Q's and watch what's going on. But it's
let's give Bo Cowboy out a shot.
Yeah, Cowboy Birch.
What kind of dog you got?
He's a mini Australian Shepherd.
Okay,
and he's pretty badass.
So how do you between Furniture Exchange, Distinctive Home Furnishing? How do you find the time, man? I get that question all the time, but I feel like you got to be pretty busy.
I'm busy, but I mean, while we are commending people, I've got guys at both of my furniture stores. At Distinctive Home Furnishings, David Byers runs that store like it's his own. I can leave town. I never have to worry about anything. At Furniture Exchange, Kyle Sims has been with me for, I don't know, going on 10 years now.
Oh, yeah. Kyle's the man. I bowl both those guys.
Yeah. And honestly, I couldn't even have thought about doing the Porthole without either Kyle or David. And my wife, Mindy, who is on the office side of all of this stuff.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely. Those people are rock solid.
What a team effort.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, now his boys work with him too.
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool.
Both his boys. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Kyle's the man. David's. I think it's saying David's might be one of the best bowlers in Bloomington.
He definitely is.
Yeah. He is phenomenal.
He'll not bowl for 6 months and then go bowl with 300.
He can go in there like it's nothing.
He's one of those guys.
Oh yeah. I don't resent him at all. I'm just kidding. I do. Yeah, I think Kyle and I both had stints at the country club, so we never overlapped. But yeah,
that's where we kind of got to know Kyle, was at the country club.
Oh, okay, so, yeah. So where I got to talk about, I introduced you as Flat Steve, man. Let's talk about the nickname.
Flats. It's funny that we're here in this building because we're here at the corner of 2nd and College. And David and I, back in the early 2000s, had an opportunity to kind of buy some of these buildings in this corner, and Furniture Exchange was in the building just to the north here.
Oh,
we were here for, I don't know, 6-7 years.
Yeah, Gary, he was telling me that before we started, that they used to own this building.
We own this building, the apartment, and the one.
Isn't that funny?
And the next two, and so. Dirk Bland and I opened Antique Mall in this building that we're sitting in right now. We did that for a few years. But Flat Steve came about when we were in the building next door, and I might as well keep dropping names. So
You're doing great at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the guy who was renting the space just behind us was Kendall Reeves of Spectrum Studios.
Yeah, he did our canvases in the Chockamoose.
Yeah,
all of our canvases showing the old pictures. Yeah,
I
he's
think
great.
most people in town know Kendall. He's a great photographer. But he got a new printer one day, and he's like, "This thing can print giant stuff," you know. And I don't know if it was his idea or I don't know how we got there, but he said, let's do a cardboard cutout of you. And somehow it became the cowboy situation. And 25 years later, I've
became
got
famous with all the TV ads. You know,
Yes,
back
okay.
back when you watched ESPN, and now ads are everywhere on TV. It's kind of hard to find them, but he and Mindy did all these TV ads, and
Clayton Anderson jumped in on one of them one time. It was so fun. I miss him. I haven't talked to him for a while.
I was on one of your commercials.
You were. Yes, you were.
What
about that.
was your role? Were
I
you
don't
as
remember.
yourself?
You were on the commercial as my friend.
Huh?
My
Don't
mom
believe
was on.
anything you see on TV.
My mom was in that same commercial as my mom.
Yeah. What?
Really tough
Yeah, I don't
acting.
remember my
Yeah.
role. I mean, you still have. Well, anyway, that's Flat Steve. And then you would have thought he set this up. A college kid stole Flat Steve one time, and it was a big police report. And the front page of the HT has Flat Steve is missing. And then
Everyone's texting you like, "Are you okay?"
And then like a few days later, Flat Steve was recovered.
Yeah.
And
Another story.
another story. So
Yeah. Hey man, that's free advertising, bro.
advertising. Yeah.
That's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any nicknames like that.
It's funny that it's funny that Flat Steve became. I mean, because if you've been around Bloomington, you've seen at least Flat Steve.
Oh
right.
yeah.
And a couple of weeks ago was Halloween time. I got an email from a student from the Kelly School of Business. I think her name was Courtney. I'm sorry, Courtney, if I'm wrong. But she asked if she could borrow a yellow T-shirt because she wanted to be Flat Steve for Halloween.
Oh my God, I love that.
And I said, the only yellow one I have left is the original that's in the picture. And I'll gladly let you borrow it if you bring it back. And 2 days later, she brought it back, and the rest is history.
Did you get pictures from the?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, that's how you know you've made it.
Well,
is
and
when
it
you
hasn't
got
been on.
people-
It hasn't been on TV or anything for years now.
No, but we just have the billboards now. But
Right,
it's-
right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the billboard's still up. You should, I wonder if
Sure.
she was from Bloomington.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Yeah.
Well, David, you might not have a nickname, but you've got a radio show, you got a podcast. Well, you do a segment after myself on Wednesdays with Glass in the afternoon.
Yep,
on,
doing a little market update,
WGCL.
economic update. Yep, do that every week. Been doing the radio for 20. Let's see, my son's 22. I started when he was 1, so 21 years. So I'm the longest running personality on WGCL. And
Wow. So
I've seen-
your radio persona alone can go buy a beer.
Yeah, maybe,
Sure.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's I love it, right? I mean, I love educating people. I wanted to be a football coach and math teacher. That was my goal coming out of high school. I grew up on the South Side, but my mom remarried and we moved to Ellettsville, so that's how I ended up at Edgewood. So played football there, quarterback 3 years. Graduated in '88, and then went to play at Greenville University in Southern Illinois. And convinced that's what I wanted to do, was be a football coach and a math teacher, and was down there and didn't make the traveling team right out of the gate as a freshman. And there was a financial seminar going on by a guy named Charles J. Gibbons, kind of like a Dave Ramsey of today, but maybe a little more, little different. It was more like cash flow, budgeting, investments, economics, and I decided to go. So I went. And I'm like, holy crap, people need to know about this. So I'm calling my mom, who worked in the factories. Hey, Mom, do you have a 401k? I don't know.
I thought you were playing football. What are you doing?
Yeah. So I literally, I only had I didn't have any money, but I bought the books and tapes and started listening to them just religiously. Went back to Greenville the second year and decided my heart wasn't in it, so I retired from football. Immediately came back home and enrolled at Indiana and decided that was going to be my thing, was helping people understand about money. So I still love to teach. I still do a lot of speaking engagements, workshops, and I think the radio show has been a platform for me as an outlet for my my eagerness to educate people. So yeah, I've been doing it a long time and love it. And my podcast, I actually wrote an Amazon daily bestseller called 2025, The Final Drive, What You Need to Know to Win. It came out in 2020. Anyway,
good year.
And I know I'm trying to think about when it came out. So we created a kind of a workshop around that. So we've been teaching classes on that at Ivy Tech, but started the podcast around that premise. And just so you know, I mean, this isn't a financial show, but the Tax Cut and Jobs Act in 2017, effective 2018, expired into 2025. So it effectively lowered our tax rates. And I'm talking about how we have a real opportunity in front of us to do things now to stay out of the crosshairs of higher taxes coming. So that's the premise of it. And we get about 1,000 listeners each week or every 2 weeks. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's short.
Yeah,
easy.
We were talking. Yeah, you're like, how long is this going?
Yeah,
Like, we
15
record
minutes.
an hour and a half, 2 hours. I was like, how long is yours? He's like 15 minutes. Like,
My radio show is 43 minutes of talk time. So that's a regular thing. And it also goes out in a podcast. So Thursday night, I record. It goes on the station's website. It hits the podcast universe. The show replays locally on Saturday mornings at 9. So when we did the 2025, the Final Drive, I don't know anything about all this stuff, but I was like, hey, Wes, what if we took the 2025 and fed it into the current feed? Because with all the content I've had for years and years, it doesn't take you long when you type in a podcast, Your Money with David Hayes, for it to come up to the top.
Right.
So that's what we did. And then we ran it sort of as a separate stream. And it's just got some mojo. So, and I don't make money on it, obviously. They don't pay me. I don't pay them.
Yeah.
But
it's just good to get your name out there, and I'm sure you've probably maybe gotten some clients from it.
It's created a consistent brand. I mean, what's interesting, my family's been in this area 5 generations, so people know the Hayes family name. They know the Hayes market. They know my dad, Jerry, from being in banking all these years, and, and they know me. But it's interesting because the name of my company is called Comprehensive Financial Consultants, which I started the company when I was 24. And, probably should have named it Hayes something. But, at 24, you're like, nah, we need to name it a name where it describes what I'm trying to do and not, a 24-year-old kid trying to give a 50-year-old financial advice.
Right,
so
yeah.
That's what I did, and it stuck. But when you ask people, do you know of Comprehensive Financial? They might say, yeah, I've heard of them, because we sponsor big events and all kinds of stuff. But if you say, hey, have you ever heard of David Hayes? So, yeah, I've heard of David Hayes. Yeah, so that's it's fine. I don't really care, but it's definitely gives you name and brand recognition.
Well, nowadays, I mean, you go type your name in, like David, it's going to pop up. So it's not too hard. Like if they know the David Hayes brand, like the internet will guide them to Comprehensive Financial Solutions.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's not like the old days where they're looking in the phone book like, oh, can't find it. So
right,
not under
yeah, guess I'm going to get somebody else.
No, you're right about that. Now we have Jim Inman back in my office working.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he started with me, went off, did a few other things, and now he's back. And we hire some people to help us with optimization, all that kind of stuff. So I think we have a pretty good web presence as well. Got a good, decent website. Facebook, how that goes. It's kind of hard to run a business Facebook page and get a lot of traction. But Jimmy does a good job. He puts a lot of personal stuff out there, which gets, the likes and the views and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, Jim's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
That's,
so next year will be my 30th year in business. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So I'm 53 years old, and I'll be 54 in January, and I started when I was 24.
There you go. What's your birthday in January? Can you say?
January 16th.
Okay, we're 6 days off. I didn't know if we were birthday buddies.
Wouldn't that
we
be
were
fun?
about to have a moment.
Yep.
Like, are you the 22nd too? Like, sorry, Steve, this is Dave and I now.
Yeah,
We're birthday buddies.
Birch is the baby of the group. He's
true.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a year younger.
Yeah, do they pick on you a
Same
lot?
grade. Same grade.
Not so much anymore.
Like, we've grown out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Well, we'll take a quick break if that's all right with you guys.
Absolutely.
Season 5 of the No Dishes podcast is brought to you by VisitBloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at VisitBloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. All right, we're back with the boys from Porthole. I like that. It just came to me when we started. I like the boys from Porthole. Like it just rolls off the
Boys
tongue.
of the Porthole.
Yeah. We
Oh,
need,
we got great merch too, by the way.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
see his
Oh,
hat
yeah.
here. Yeah, the
we need
merchandise.
to get
is-
you a song.
Yeah.
what's
We
funny-
got one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Rich Hardesty
yeah.
wrote. It's called Porthole Sunset. It's streaming right now on Spotify.
That was not planned. I did not know that. That was genuine organic.
Yeah, that's true.
That really seems like I tried to tee that up for you.
Yeah.
I just thought "Boys of the Porthole," sounded like a good song.
Yeah,
But
that could be a second one, but no. Porthole Sunset on Spotify by Rich Hardesty.
that could be your cover band. The four of you put together.
Yeah,
is the
well,
Boys of-
maybe. And the merchandise. Mindy, his wife, Mindy's been kind of in charge of the merch. And Angie Albertson, John's wife, has helped with hats and things like that. And there's been some really cool shirts come through, but they're always like exclusive. Like just for this we have 30 of them, and that's it. I had one on, a fishing shirt on the other day, and someone goes, "I want one of those." I'm like, "Sorry."
exclusive.
Yeah.
I think it was Coach
done.
Keeper.
Well, that was his buddy. It was his buddy. Yeah, it was his buddy.
Yeah, when you're shutting down the second winningest coach in Indiana basketball history.
Sorry, Coach.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's how you drive demand is exclusivity
That's
sometimes.
right.
You guys-
Scarcity. It's called scarcity. Yeah.
You guys are going to be shifting from restaurants into fashion in no time.
Never know.
One of the most popular tank tops over the summer was the Porthole AF shirt.
Oh, all right. There you go. I'd rock that. Well, I can see G wearing one too over there. I talked about some of my favorite things to get when I've gone to the Porthole. My buddy's pizza he got, the catfish. What's your go-to order when you're eating at the Porthole?
Well, I'm a creature of habit, so I tend to go back to the same things over and over. But I started off with the tenderloin because most people get the tenderloin anywhere else, and they think of that Indiana tenderloin, and they beat it down to a big thing, and you gotta fold it up.
Edinburgh Diner.
Yeah. It's not that way. It's a nice sized tenderloin. It's meatier. It still has a wonderful breading on the outside. You can get it grilled too. And it's just full of flavor. So I love the tenderloin. Like I mentioned earlier, all the pizzas are great. They have a ham and cheese on the menu now, a hot ham and cheese, which is
It's not on the winter menu.
not on the winter menu, but we'll be back.
Daily specials. Keep an eye out in the spring.
And then Taco Tuesday has been a really fun thing, and the taco meat and the seasoning. And is that every Tuesday?
It was, but
It's
Hey,
not
well,
on the
now
winter
they can't
menu.
get it.
Obviously,
It's-
we need a partner meeting.
No. This is great. This is your scarcity.
Yeah.
honestly, by the time this comes out, Taco Tuesday will be back probably within 2 or 3 weeks. So,
Yeah. Right.
No, I would put our taco seasoning up against anybody in town. Actually, I don't think there's anybody in town that can hold a candle to our seasoning.
Who came
really
up with it?
I don't even know. It comes from.
I mean,
Is it
you can find
proprietary?
it. You can find it.
Yeah.
Like we're not
It's
going to tell you.
It's not El Paso or anything like that.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's a good one though.
Last thing, I mean, there's, gosh, I'm trying to go through my head here, the menu, but
Well, real quick-
I love like the onion rings are great. The jalapeno poppers are great. I'm thinking on the app side of things. The Porthole burger is really good. So
No doubt.
yeah. So those are some of my favorites.
Well, I love that you can do the tenderloin grilled. Not
Yeah.
a lot of places have that option, and sometimes like you
There's
want a
some
tenderloin,
healthier
you
options
feel,
out there.
feel like you're being healthy.
Yeah.
Even if you're putting a cup of mayo on it too.
Right. Salads have been really popular, and he had a wonderful summer salad with some like cranberry stuff. I mean, it was really something you would get at more like an Uptown or something.
Yeah.
So it was good. Like you said, a little bit of class, a little bouginess. And
It's a
and
bougie
bar.
dive bar. Porthole Inn, a bougie dive bar.
Here you
I
go.
would say more dive than bouge, but
It's not pretentious.
we need to talk about the soups too because those are coming out for the winter. Chili will be on the menu every day, and I tasted it a couple days ago, and it's amazing. It is amazing. It's just spicy enough, and it is really, really good. Today I was there doing some things, and we will always have a soup of the day, and today it was ham and bean. And I had a bowl of ham and bean, and I was happy as a clam.
You've been giving shout outs, but you've not given a shout out to our buddy Scott.
Is he the one running the kitchen?
Scott Bowles, let me tell you this.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, because I was going to bring it up. Like, who's
Yeah,
the guy back there?
I'm sorry, Scott, that I haven't
behind the
mentioned you
curtain.
before now because you're behind the scenes, but he actually is what is making every single thing run there every day. He's putting in a ton of hours. He's listened to me bitch at him about how to save money, and he's taking it all so well, and we are so appreciative of him. And the whole kitchen staff, the people that we've got there now, like I said, they're bought in. They're Porthole people. They're part of the Porthole team. The servers, we got to say something about Tiffany and Crystal. And I shouldn't even have started that because I'm not going to
list them. They're there a lot. They're the most. But,
they are. But all the girls on the floor there, we just couldn't be happier with the way that team has come together. And just looking forward. Yeah, they really do. They help each other out.
Yeah.
Dude, having a good serving crew is so underrated.
Yeah.
That's I've talked about it at length. Just that crew we had when I was at Sweetgrass under the original owners. We just like all got along and just all handled our shit. You know, and like no one's like trying not to fill the ice.
North Carolina folks, right?
Yeah. So
they bought that furniture in the lobby from us, and
really?
I loved dealing with those folks.
Yeah,
they were cool.
Yeah, it was Luke and Ryan. Luke, his parents owned Combe Veterinary.
Oh, okay.
So he was. I think that's how they kind of got the money to start it.
Gotcha.
And he's a local boy, and then Ryan. They met at Johnson and Wales.
Okay.
Down in South Carolina.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So. Yeah, man, it was good times back then. But yeah, just like that serving crew. I've had one of them, Therese. She works at Cloverleaf. And she was sitting in your seat not too long ago. So we got to go relive some of our days back then.
Yeah.
So what about whenever you guys were talking about going to dinner after this?
Yeah.
You guys are people of the community. I mean, you're local boys, men. I don't know why I keep doing the boys thing.
No, I'm
just
fine
feel
with
like you're
that.
one of the boys. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, where you guys like to go eat out here in town?
I mean, you know, you can start with if Porthole Pizza, right? So, you know, I was telling you off air that I really don't go to chain restaurants very often unless it's a Monday, because most restaurants are closed Mondays. Yeah. So maybe Outback or something like that on a Monday night. But we have been Malibu people forever, back in the JB days, and golly, and then I was at Malibu today for lunch. We enjoy going to Uptown. This is the more upscale stuff. We love going to the Southside Mexican. I call it the Mexican Pizza Hut on the South Side.
Yeah, absolutely.
El Ranchero. I love going
we're
down there.
We're there twice a week.
I love going. When my wife's busy and I'm not busy, they're like, "Where are you going?" Where are you there? I'm going to go. El Ranchero. You want to meet me there? They got great margaritas and food like that.
Well, and they got a friendly staff down there too that we've gotten to know, and they joke and they have fun with us. And,
that's actually where Vesta came from, our bartender.
Yeah.
So I got to know her real well during COVID because we would go in there and have something to eat. Because my joke was there was only two places that act normal during COVID, and that was the country club and the Mexican restaurant. So that's the only place I would go.
Yeah.
But anyway, I met her and I told Birch, I said, you've got to interview her, and he did, and she was looking for a change, maybe more responsibility, maybe a little more money, whatever it might be, and her and I had a good relationship, and she took the job. But those are things that come immediately to mind. I mean, you know, a lot of the restaurants around the square, I don't go to a lot. I mean, Social Cantina I've been to just a few times. I don't really go to the Tap very often, but a lot of them when I go, I'm like, I should come back here more often. But you know, you're creatures of habit.
Yeah, it's tough.
Where are we going to go tonight? Do you have any idea?
I think you're going back to Malibu for dinner.
There you go. See what I mean?
He's doing the old double feature. Malibu for lunch and dinner.
But I wasn't drinking at lunch, so.
Oh, good.
I love at El Ranchero. I love to do just chicken burritos a la carte. It's like just two chicken burritos, and it's just it's shredded, it's saucy, and it's they get it out. It's like a 5-minute ticket time.
Oh yeah,
my gosh,
time, and it blows my mind.
That's that you can learn a lot from the Mexican restaurant because there's a lot of the same ingredients go into a lot of the different dishes.
Yeah, just repurpose.
Repurpose things. Mm-hmm. I love the Polo Guerrero down there. I like their taco salads. I like all that stuff.
You like most of those things.
I do, and margaritas. I like margaritas, so those are a great combination. Where else do you? I mean, we pretty much go to the same places.
Yeah, we do. Where else do we go?
I don't really eat on the west side because I'm not over there.
I mean, Nick's is always cool. Good pizza there.
We have Mother Bear's sometimes.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, obviously Cafe Pizzeria.
Mother Bear's has good wings. If you didn't know that, Mother Bear's has good buffalo wings.
I think you're the second or third person we've had mention that they are not. Typically, you're only getting pizza.
we go to Trojan Horse too, because Peggy and Denny that used to own it are clients of mine and friends, and I used to love to go patronize their place. But they have a great burger.
Yeah,
people don't know that they have a fantastic burger.
That double cheeseburger, man. They grind the meat in house daily. The only other place that does it is Hinkle's.
Yeah.
So some of your best.
We need to talk about Richie and Hinkle's. I mean, shoot. Yeah, Hinkle's is amazing.
But I never go there. It's kind of one of those things where I just never make it over that way.
Yeah,
we've left Ed Schwartzman out of this conversation too, and obviously Buffalo Louie's has amazing wings, and Ed has done great things for our community. He's been a customer of mine for years, and just a great guy to get to know. So
him and Jamie both.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Do you are you a sweet Q guys, or do you what kind of wing sauce?
I like the sweet Q. Yeah, that's
I'm always hot buffalo.
Oh, all right. Yeah, living a little more on the edge.
Yeah. I mean, Southern Stone. That's really good. I mean, sometimes we go there, but we go to the country club a lot. I've been a member down there since 1997 or 8.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a long time. So it's just and that's a comfortable, convenient place to go.
Yeah.
And, and everybody, so it's kind of like
when it's can't you do like food only membership there?
You used to. You can't do that any longer.
Okay.
I think those days are maybe over.
They're over.
Yeah, I'm a little out of touch.
If you're a legacy person, they still let you do it, but they social memberships, you get golf a few times a year, use the pool. It's a little less expensive, but there's a waiting list for that.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
for both. I think the club's full right now with waiting lists for every category.
Yeah, I was curious how foul opening, if that affect the golf down at the country club very much, but it sounds like they're thriving.
A little different crowd, I think.
Yeah.
And foul is so damn hard.
Like I want to feel good about myself after golfing.
Right.
I don't want to be crying.
Yeah. Anthony at foul does an amazing job, by the way.
Yeah.
But his brother Levi is on par with him at the country club. So I'll throw
Levi.
throw a couple more names.
The course is in
out.
amazing shape. Yeah.
I mean, I've always heard that, and I got to play at one of the places. I always talk about my past work history on here, but I rarely bring up my 3-month stint at the country club because I started there the exact same week I started at the Chocolate Moose.
Okay.
And then
that's where you met Lovey, right?
So I met Lovey at Sweetgrass. He was a regular at Sweetgrass.
Okay.
So I already knew Lovey and knew Adam, and there was quite a few people. Well, obviously I met Adam more through starting at the Moose.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was, because one of the big advantages of working at the country clubs is the connections that you make.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see the need for that because I was already kind of friends or had relationships through Sweetgrass or, starting at Chocolate Moose where it wasn't as big of a value for me. But I was, it was a good little stint there. It was tough because at Sweetgrass, I'm curating a cocktail list, wine list.
Right.
You go in the country club, everyone, you guys know more than anyone, has their way they like things.
Right.
And so I went from like making all these great cocktails to someone's specific version of an old fashioned, or I'm just making a ton of 6-packs. Every day.
For the golf course or something.
But John Grigsby was the GM when I was there, and then Chris was the COO.
He was a controller.
Controller. Thank you. Now he's running the show.
Yeah,
right?
he's done a fantastic
Yeah, Chris
job.
is awesome. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah,
in my opinion, probably the best thing that's happened to the Bloomington Country Club in the last 50 years.
Is Chris taking over?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone have a bad word to say about him. He's always so good. Every now and then we'll bring over some ice to you guys over there. And I miss the days back when the fellows lived over at Quail Ridge. We'd be popping over there quite a bit.
You remember that?
Oh yeah. I took one
that?
time the party bus got stolen. And Alec Dickerson and I had to go pick it up from it got left in the middle of the street from a person that was down there, and we took Overton's SUV to go pick it up. And so I was like, what a weird story, man. I was like, I'm with a pro MLB player going to pick in PGA player's SUV to go pick up a party bus parked in the middle of campus that a drunk person used to take home.
Yeah.
It was so silly. That was kind of surreal. That's the Cliff Notes version of that. I'll tell you the full story sometime.
I love it.
Cool. Well, anything we missed, fellas, before I let you go?
Did we touch on the artwork in the porthole?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Adam Long.
Adam Long. So just real quick story about my history with Adam Long. His father, J.D., was the founder of Long's Landing Furniture out on the east side of Bloomington. He and his wife Claudia were mentors to me. They were my neighbors. They moved into my neighborhood when I was in 6th grade. I got to know their oldest son, Jared, and we're still best friends to this day. And Adam is Jared's younger brother. Long story short, JD and Claudia taught me how to run a furniture store and gave me their blessing to do it on my own.
Wow.
Jared and I are still best friends, and Adam is one of the most amazing artists I've ever seen in my life. And he did the murals for us at the Porthole, and we couldn't be happier with him.
Yeah, that's so cool. I didn't know you guys had that relationship between what you do and Long's Landing. That's just like we were talking about, just you're friendly. A lot of people in Bloomington were friendly with their competitors. So I'm glad to see that branches outside of restaurants into furniture as well.
I mean, it's that way in my business for me. I mean, when you're in business and you're doing well and someone's in your business not doing well, then they're jealous and they might say bad things about you or spread rumors or whatever. But if you have the heart to help other people, like, yeah, we're doing well, here's how I'm doing it.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing different, and show them, like you said before, maybe on our affair, but there's plenty for everybody, right? So there's no reason not to help out everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, this wasn't working for me either. We did this and it changed everything. That's useful stuff.
Oh yeah, just sharing stories, and it helps to know that you're not the only one dealing with the issues
right,
that like you have going on. Because so what I said off air is that we had lunch with Hartzell, who's like Chocolate Moose's biggest competitor, and we're just sharing like, oh, we're dealing with this, you're dealing with that. And it's just cool, like such a awesome opportunity. He's such a great guy and does amazing job with Hartzell's and Jiffy Treat on the east side. I know Adam, back to Adam Long, also did the mural on top of Bears Hardware out in Nashville. That thing is gnarly, dude.
That's a
it's
monster.
like the world's largest painted American flag. It might not be, but it is
really
massive.
Cool.
And then real quick, speaking of family, let's give a shout out to Austin Hayes and Michael Lang for JV All-Americans.
JV All-Americans. They recorded my podcast stream there at my office on South College Wednesday nights, and it's hilarious. I mean, it's funny stuff. So they cuss a lot.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Yeah, a lot.
I haven't heard it.
You need to listen to it. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's sports, and Michael and Austin they
they're
know their
trying
stuff
really hard too.
Their personalities,
Yeah, they're creating. They created some T-shirts with a clown Tom Allen on the front of it. It was funny. They tried to sell them the first. They were the day the Indiana won.
Marketing geniuses, right?
Yeah. I'm like, it's a bad day to try to sell clown Tom Allen shirt.
Yeah, well, they were telling me they went to multiple people that were like, yeah, we can't print this.
No, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, then finally found somebody. Hopefully, yeah.
So anyway, listen to them. JV All-Americans. It's really funny because they basically have no real personal sports experience, like doing something, except maybe bowling.
Yeah.
But have a lot of opinions.
Bowling is a sport.
It's a sport.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the president of the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame as well. If you may,
are you really? No, I had no idea.
And we are really interested in branching out into other sports. So last year we inducted Jerry Blackwell as a softball player.
Oh yeah.
We've been looking for I want to put a bowler in the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame.
I've got some candidates.
I need some candidates. I need you guys to put.
I feel like Rick Smith might be.
Rick Smith would be up there.
Yeah.
Go to Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. We have a great website. Submit a nominee.
Okay.
Put who you want submitted.
Rick Smith's an amazing bowler. I would think in the beginning you would probably maybe want somebody who may not be here anymore, who did some things that.
I think so. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
we're in the middle of
my tongue, and I just can't come up with.
We're right now in the middle of the selection process. We met last night, and now by the time the show comes out, we will have had the class, and we'll probably close to announcing the class. But we just did the coaches last night, so we have 2 coaches that will be going in. We'll have contributors and then 6 athletes. And man, the athletes are fantastic. But we try to diversify amongst sport. We try to diversify amongst, women, men, and we just have never really jumped to the amateur side of things too much on adult league softball. But we did last
obscure,
year. But we think if you have a bowler go in,
here's a name for you. It just came to me.
Don't tell me. Put it in the damn website.
I'm going to tell you because I want you to talk to other bowlers because I used to be a bowler.
Oh really? Man, I missed out on the Birch bowling days.
And the iconic bowler back in, I guess it was probably in the early to mid 90s, and he has since passed. His name is Holger Curtis, and he was just an amazing bowler, an amazing man. And I think if you talk amongst guys my age and a little older, that would be a name that would be at the top of the list for the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. First inductee as a bowler.
So
That'd be cool.
There's a local bowling Facebook group. I'll clip this out. I'll share it there, and we'll have people.
Yeah.
Bo Shipley will be able to tell you some
absolutely.
names.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Because I mean, you bowlers keep stats and stuff, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that's something that's a little bit hard. Like with Jerry Blackwell as a softball player, when he says, "Hey, he hit a million home runs," it's like, well, who kept track of that?
Yeah, right. Well,
but back then, I guess sometimes they did.
Well, in bowling, it's USBC, so it's like certified.
Yeah.
It's there are fun leagues, but those leagues, those stats don't count.
Right.
But you have your USBC certified.
Yeah.
Same rules across the country.
Like Ike Martin went in. Ike Martin, city golfer,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So he went in last year.
Yeah.
So we're trying to branch our thinking out a little bit from just the traditional high school football, basketball, wrestling. Yeah. So anyway,
that's super cool.
I'm glad I brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, fellas, great work. I love everything you've done out there. You can tell you're so passionate about the team that you have, the food that you have, everything that you've done, and it's come a long way. So thanks so much for taking the time to be here and share the gospel of the Porthole Inn with us.
Well, you'll have to say something to Glass in the afternoon on Wednesday when you are doing your report.
I'm going to be like, Glass, why am I Dave's opener?
That's right. Yeah. No, that's great. Well, thanks for having us on. It was a real joy.
It was a good time. Sorry we got a little sidetracked and got off on other issues.
I wouldn't have it any other way, buddy. That's what I love doing this.
Yeah.
You find out stuff you had no idea about, because I've known both of you for years, and I've learned so much. So that's what makes this thing so great. So,
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks, fellas.
Yep.
What another great episode. Thanks again to Visit Bloomington for being our Season 5 title sponsor. If you haven't checked them out yet, go to visitbloomington.com. This episode of the No Dishes podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No dishes.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.